And most people don't want to talk about legal and illegal immigration, but we do, and we want to do something about that. So that's quite interesting and is a big challenge for whichever party gets in on Thursday. But we know Peter Putney is going to get in, so that'll be great. And so the Reform Party will be helping to put things right.
I think the most significant one to most voters, the young voters especially, is that tax will only start when you're earning over £20,000 a year. So until you earn over £20,000 a year, there's zero tax. The other one is immigration, where we are the party that believes in having limited immigration and no illegal immigration.
And I decided to stand really because I think the current government has got a bit tired. I think everybody agrees that, and therefore I'm concerned about who might replace them. And I want to see that we follow the views and wishes of the man in the street, which are really quite local.
Borough Ian just asked, what will Reform do with the last 5 years' worth of illegal migrants which didn't arrive here through legal means?
I think a lot of them have just disappeared. Very difficult to find them. They've come here with no papers, no identity. They've been put into homes, and a huge quantity of them have just absconded. So it would be very difficult to find some of them, probably the majority of them. And again, I can't give official view. My personal view is, if somebody's come here illegally, they need to be taken back to the safe country that they came from, and apply it in the normal way.
They're worried about crime, traffic, low traffic neighbourhoods. They're worried about the reopening of Hammersmith Bridge, which has been closed for a number of years. And the bill for that to be repaired has gone from £80 million up to £240 million.
Stopping the boats and illegal immigration. We've got a lot of criminals that are coming to the country. We've got a lot of people, young men who are not bringing. If you go back in history, when there was a real crisis on the Titanic, the first people to be taken off the Titanic were women and children. It seems that the people that are coming into Britain seem to be fit young men. That's not the normal type of person that you'd offload as a refugee.
You asked me, what made me want to represent Putney and the people in this area. And I think, having lived here for over 20 years, I resonate with the local issues and concerns, some of which I've mentioned. And I think, having been a diplomat, and I worked with the British ambassador in New York, I have the leadership skills and the influence to get things done, to try and help local people solve local problems, and that will translate into the wider issue of who's going to be the next government. Otherwise, I think we're going to have a Labour government with a Labour mayor and a Labour council, and so hopefully there won't be a Labour MP. There'll be me, Peter for Putney. So that's very exciting, and I hope that'll be the key feature of this interview is Peter for Putney.
The Conservative Party has been deeply infiltrated. It's been taken over by an extreme group of traitors. The traitors are mentioned in Nadine Dorris's book, which is partially. I think Boris Johnson probably helped her write that, and some of the traitors are actually named. There's one particular traitor in the book that even she is frightened to name, and she calls him Dr. No. So I'm very curious to know who this arch traitor is. But I think the Conservative Party and the Labour Party are pretty much one and the same at the moment. We are the only party, what I'd call is the party of common sense. I wouldn't call us a right-wing party or a left-wing party. I've voted Liberal before. Generally, I've voted Conservative. But I was going to say we're not a right-wing or a left-wing party. We're a party of common sense.
Other things that people worry about, like you asked me about the National Health Service, and it's a tremendous thing, and it's a great golden star, and we don't want to interfere with that. But I think many people say that it could be more efficiently run with less managers and more people on the front line. So I'm all in favour of that, cutting the waiting lists, and we all want to try and do that. So it's not controversial. We want to put more money into the NHS, but we want to make sure that it's doing good stuff, not being spent on things, management issues which are not important. We want to have more police on the streets. People are worried about having their watches stolen, shoplifting, other low crime issues with which the police are challenged to deal with because there aren't enough of them. So most parties want to have more policemen, and it's a question of how you pay for that. We want to get traffic moving again on the streets. We've got too many low traffic neighbourhoods, networks going on. But while doing that, we also want to safeguard the pedestrian, the bicyclist, who's important, and children, to make sure they're not being, run over.